This is the Spenser Walsh Show. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We really appreciate you being here, and you may remember this theme here from the Rocketeers, our last, most recent, most canceled podcast. My brother didn't want to really do it, gotta be honest, but that means it's time for gaming, and it's time for tech, and it's time for the resurgence of Nintendo. Alright, so, yeah, and I think we should really just play that sound again. The resurgence of Nintendo, because that's really what it is. And, yeah, the Nintendo Switch is back 5 years after Nintendo started unraveling. The company was losing money for the first time ever, and as the monstrously popular Wii stalled in sales, Nintendo Savior, a Wii follow-up christened the Wii U, turned into an elaborate act of self-sabotage. The system was poorly named. Like, is that an add-on to the Wii, or why is the controller mostly used as tablet, and what the hell is Meteoroid? I don't know what it is. It was the worst-selling home console ever for Nintendo as the company's losses mounted in 2013 to 14. It really turned on the verge of really nothing, to be honest. But the Nintendo's often mines its biggest successes from its most spectacular failures. This company pulled the video game industry out of its 1983 tailspin with the Nintendo Entertainment System and developed the motion control Wii as a desperate attempt to recoup the shriveling market share in the mid-2000s. Impending doom always seems to reanimate the industry's most revered developer. But it shouldn't be a total surprise then, after managing to lose nearly 100 million customers in the transition from Wii to Wii U. Nintendo has once again snagged victory from the jaws of defeat with its latest system, the Nintendo Switch. The handheld console hybrid has improbably become the best-selling console in many parts of the world and has already accrued multiple titles worthy of GOAT status in fewer than 10 months. Coupled the Switch successes with the highly sought SNES Classic, and the Nintendo is already having its best year in a long time. The company's comeback is one of the few positive tech stories from 2017. The year didn't begin so rosily, though, with the defunct Wii U having sold a paltry 13 million units, compared with the Wii's, wait for it, 101 million, and the poorly stocked NES Classic having done more to anger gamers than fulfill their nostalgic delights last year. The company really did need a win. A January media event that served as a coming out party for Switch didn't exactly inspire confidence. Nintendo was light on software announcements or details about its online service and its central feature on modern consoles, and the revelation that the Switch would cost $300, as much as the more powerful PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, helped send the company's stock price down more than 5% after the presentation. So it seemed really like enough to burn through the last of gamers' goodwill from the oft-maddening company. But then Nintendo released The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. A lifetime worth of anti-consumer transgressions was suddenly forgiven. In an era filled with cynical IP cash-ins across entertainment, Nintendo used a formulaic nostalgic franchise to deliver a mix of reinvention in the open world gaming mechanics. The game is an in-depth mix of old and new, borrowing from elements from Skyrim and Minecraft, but augmenting them to recreate the whimsy, mystery, intrepidness that a lot of gamers felt for the first time they booted up the old Legend of Zelda or the seminal Ocarina of Time. The gushing praise for the game and the best reviewed title of the year prove that endlessly cynical gamers will always have a spot for the Nintendo Classic done right. Zelda immediately transformed the Switch from a curiosity to a must-have gadget. That's what really put the Switch on the map. Gamers like Yai Torres, a 30-year-old resident of Arlington, Virginia, who had skipped out on the Wii U, got the system the day it launched. It's been a while since I've had a Nintendo product, but I've always been a follower in the terms of the latest games. The fact that they've had such a cool console with such a cool game really clicked for me, he said. The Switch selling out at launch was not a shock, but even the disastrous Wii U managed to do that. But when Switch remained hard to find in the summer months, it was clear that Nintendo had created something special. Part of the appeal is the Switch's core gimmick. It can be played as handheld or as a television-connected console, which differentiated it from everything else on the market. You could play it on your television, you could sit down, you could grab a bag of chips and start playing for hours and hours on end, or you could take it inside your car on long car rides and play that Zelda on your road trip to like see your relatives in Virginia. I don't know, but yeah, and. Following the launch, Nintendo proved again and again that its franchises, both old and new, can still sell systems. A port of Mario Kart 8, released in April, is now the Switch's second best-selling game. Splatoon 2, the sequel to the colorful kid shooter that debuted on Wii U, has sold more than 3 million copies. Even ARMS and 1-2 Switch games that elicited shrugs at the company's January conference are million sellers globally. But the system's centerpiece title post-Zelda is definitely Super Mario Odyssey. Much like Link's Adventure, the game manages to kind of feel novel while retaining the core elements that have made the Mario franchise essential for 3 decades. The system's success had surprised not only industry watchers, but Nintendo itself. During its years in the Wii U wilderness, Nintendo has talked a lot about diversifying its business across multiple platforms, including smartphone games, which has performed middlingly, and a vague health-based platform, which has yet to materialize. Now, though, the company has raised its projections from Switch sales for this fiscal year to 10 million to 14 million and is rumored to be loading as many as 30 million Switches for next year. In just a few months, Switch has become the backbone of Nintendo's future and really the main reason, if not the only reason, for their resurgence. So regardless of Switch's success, Nintendo will not give up diversifying its business model. For gamers who don't care about the latest Mario or Zelda title, Nintendo has offered the SNES Classic as a go-to holiday gift. The company has promised the miniaturized retro console will have a larger production run than last year's hard-to-find NES Classic. And the device has managed to outsell PS4 and Xbox One in recent months. Upcoming projects like a reported Super Mario movie, animated thank God, and a Nintendo theme park also indicate the company may be finally finding effective ways to strengthen the brand outside the bounds of traditional console cycles. Of course, there's no guarantee the Nintendo's current momentum will continue. The company is notorious for releasing consoles that struggle to fill out calendars with compelling software over the years, and it's hard to believe that Zelda and Mario will be topped in terms of critical acclaim, which Switch is beating. While Switch is beating expectations, it will need something besides franchise staples to reach Wii-like ubiquity, the system that was propelled in large part by the novelty of Wii Sports. There's a lot of road left to cover, says developer Matthew Hudock, not developer, but who's a senior toys and games analyst for Euromonitor. Part of its long-term success depends on whether it can introduce some other things that can bring in the casual players. They are banking a little bit more on nostalgia than they were prior with Wii, and that nostalgia could be a little bit of a problem. But if they really wanted to be transcending the gaming community and something you could just play at a party or when you go over to your friend's house, that is something you need something Wii-like for that to have success. So it's not clear yet whether the Switch will have a big impact on the rest of the gaming landscape. Sony has said it doesn't plan to release another handheld after its last one, the Vita, tanked. Microsoft is trying to integrate its Xbox and Windows platforms not go portable. And while the third parties are happy to offer Switch ports of kid-friendly franchises and last-gen remasters, the system doesn't have the power or direct ports of today's biggest blockbuster hits, a problem that Wii and Wii U also had. Perhaps it's for the best. The Switch is likely to draw less scrutiny and ire if it's not looking to reshape the way we play games, instead humbly presenting the best of what Nintendo has to offer in the living room and on the go. For long-time fans, it's heartening to see that the company has still the chops to integrate modern game design philosophies with its marquee accessibility. With really decades of gimmicks under the belt, some fruitful, others nearly fatal, Nintendo has kept things simple for once, and in a year like this, simple pleasures has always been treasured. Nintendo's brand image has always been whimsy and childlike wonder, says Kyle Stapleton, a 30-year-old Atlanta resident who bought an SNES Classic. It's a nice respite from the insanity of 2017. Just nice respite, nice take a break from all the crazy stuff going on right now in 2017. So that's the story of Nintendo. We nominate that as the best tech story of the year, and I think, I gotta be honest, it passes. It's really cool to see that, and then getting Rocket League there also as well. We cover that story, and it's going to be pretty exciting to bring that game to such an exciting console as well. So I personally think Nintendo has nowhere to go but up.
Yeah. Oh. Gucci gang. Oh.
That's it right there, T-Nev.
Lil Pump. Yeah. Gucci gang. Oh. Yeah.
Big head on the beat.
Gucci gang.
All right,
Gucci
ladies and
gang,
gentlemen,
Gucci
it's
gang,
that
Gucci gang,
time.
Gucci gang,
It's
Gucci
time
gang,
for
Gucci gang, Gucci gang.
our
Spread their
top
racks on new
50
chain.
songs of 2017 countdown. And it is going to be pretty big. And that's why we're playing Gucci Gang. Just kidding. It's our 50th song in the countdown today. And so I thought we'd come in with that and then go out with our number one song, which you'll find out what it is if you keep listening. So that's cool. Alright, so Gucci Gang is our number 50th song, as you know, on to this top countdown. So if a 3-year-old or 4-year-old can sing it, that's what I aim for. Gucci Gang producer Big Head told me, or told this, the producer, or said that publicly, did not tell me, I don't know why I said that. So Big Head, Niels, and Lil Pump really followed that formula to a T with the song, for better or worse. 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds the world over reacting to the spare but memorable production, like the simple chant rhymes of Pump's lyrics. Whether we need 5 albums worth of this stuff is a different question, but 2 minutes of it is pretty fun. But it just like it's really a song that you can sing in the party when you're like half drunk and you're just like Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci. But you know, it's really kind of a catchy rhythm there. I mean, like, how can you not? You just want to play it. Just to be like,
yeah, still slanging dope in the jets. Yeah, me and my grandma take meds.
Yeah, I mean, if you really get the rap part, I mean, I could perform it probably just as well as a Lil Pump, but I mean, not as cool, obviously. All right, 49 is Ty Dolla $ign, Drop Top in the Rain. Personally, I mean, I really have never, I mean, you know, I really never considered this song too much, other than when I first heard it. Because, I mean, I got to be honest here, it really kind of is top kind of Ty Dolla right there. And I mean, I first heard it, it's kind of like it speeds up. It's like, oh yeah, here we go, and then it just goes Drop Top in the Rain. Yeah, but he comes to the studio, he comes out with a few hits like few others really in the game, and I mean, it's really pretty nice. I mean, you can play it on loop at a wedding. It's really something that, I mean, it's kind of a typical Ty Dolla $ign, but it's just something you can. It's this perfect song for like a nice drive at night off like a nice ocean road in the middle of Miami, and like a nice red convertible, and you're just like with your arms up and like, whoa! That's exactly what that kind of song that is. Taylor Swift, So It Goes, is 48 from the album Reputation, and Shellback Ozgo Max Martin produced the song. So, I mean, this is just the good songs from okay albums kind of situation, but I mean, Reputation honestly was fine, but as a whole, the album struggles as kind of the proper proximity to things like Rumor, the media persona, rap, trap, and except on So It Goes. Like, this is, I mean, it is the classic Taylor Swift song that, I mean, it really makes you be like, oh, that's so sweet. It's like, it's really for the middle of a long car ride. It's like, you're like, it's been a rough day. We're going on a trip somewhere. I really don't want to go on that trip, so let me just put on some Taylor Swift. And So It Goes is kind of similar to, like, I mean, I guess kind of a poor man's, like, This Love, I guess you could say. I really don't know how to put that, but yeah. Our 47th song is Trippie Redd, Love Scars, and A Love Letter to You. I mean, he's kind of the biggest person in the genre of the SoundCloud rap group, I guess you could say. He does a good job with this one. It's one of his biggest songs yet, and of course you gotta love it. So Vince Staples, 7:45, A Big Fish Theory, and Vince Staples, pretty much to me, is probably one of the coolest rappers. He's a futuristic rapper. He has a nice, really, really nice sound. And I know I said I was only going to play the 50th and first songs on our countdown because it would be our intro and our outro of the segment. But I mean, his sound is really just on another level, I think, with this entire album. And it's just really some of the thing that it just feels like, I mean, you just want to be like, yeah, come pick me up around 7:45. Like, please do, just take me. It's just like a song where it kind of signifies the word vibin'. Like here it is. I'm just gonna play play it like 30 seconds in. Let's get a load of this.
You're right.